Duke had beaten Clemson 22 straight times, but that was until the ACC tournament last year. They'll renew the rivalry on Wednesday night. Hey, how are you folks? Jason Horowitz. Glad to be with you here on CBSSports.com, breaking down the game between the Blue Devils and the Tigers. Let's bring in Gary Parrish to break this down. And Gary, when you talk about Duke last week losing at Wake and bouncing back at home against Virginia, what do they have to do in the game against Clemson?
Well, Gerald Henderson has to be good. Look, there's nothing wrong with losing at Wake, and there's probably nothing wrong with losing at Clemson. I mean, Clemson's a legitimate top 10 team, but Henderson has been on quite a roll lately. 20 at Wake in that loss, 18 against Virginia, 17 against Maryland before that, 21 against NC State. He's been a guy who he's helped. You need that scoring punch from him, and he wasn't that early in the year. They were relying a little bit on Kyle Singler to do a lot of everything. With Henderson and Singler as your 1-2 punch, that's a dangerous team. Look, they're a top 5 team and a number 1 seed type team for a reason. They've got a great roster, But just because of that, you don't necessarily go to Clemson and win. This is a team that doesn't lose many home games and a team that's pretty talented as well.
And it's also a team that showed something in its last game. They went to Virginia Tech. They were down by 15. They came back to win on the road. Gary, what did Oliver Purnell's squad show you in that game that maybe they wouldn't have shown us in the last couple of years?
Well, I'm a big believer in Oliver Purnell. I know the collapse from 2 years ago, and some people thought the bow out in the first round of the NCAA tournament last year sort of, it was reminiscent of an Oliver Purnell team, but the guy has won everywhere he's ever been over a long career. And you just look at this team. They're 18-2 now, wins at Illinois, at Virginia Tech, at South Carolina, at Miami. What other teams in the country got 4 road wins like that? When you can go on the road and beat top 25-ish teams like all 4 of those are, then that's pretty impressive. The loss at North Carolina got out of hand. They were close with Wake Forest. I know it was a double-digit loss, but I was there courtside. It was a 1-point game with 4 minutes to go. This Clemson team is not like the Clemson team that most people remember. It's a serious squad.
Well, the loss at North Carolina got out of hand in the second half. They were really in it in the first half, Gary, because of what Terrence Oglesby was able to do from beyond the arc. But who's the one guy for them that they cannot afford to have a bad game against good teams?
You ask that coaching staff, and they'll tell you their best player is Casey Rivers, and they need him to be good. His numbers were okay in the loss to Wake Forest, but I don't remember him being good that game. At North Carolina, he was terrible, 2 of 9 from the field, finished with just 7 points. If they're going to be good, Trevor Booker's going to rebound, that's fine. Oglesby's going to make shots, that's fine. They need Casey Rivers to be an elite-level go-to guy, get a basket when we need it type player. He needs to be good for them to, be taken seriously on the national level. You put him in the top 10, and there will still people tell you, even though they're wrong, there'll still be people tell you that Clemson isn't that good, that they don't belong in the same conversation with Wake, Carolina, and Duke. If they ever want to overcome that, they need to win games like this, and a home game against Duke's one they need to get.
Well, losing 54 straight at North Carolina certainly helps that thought that maybe they don't fit in with North Carolina. In terms of this game again, Gary, when you talk about Duke, not the most important player on the team as a whole, but in this matchup, who's the most important player?
Nolan Smith. He's got to be able to handle, this Clemson press. He's not a guy who takes care of the ball really, really well. He'll turn it over a little bit. And so between him and Paulus, they've got to be able to handle this Clemson press in what is a rowdy environment. I go to college basketball arenas all over the country every single week. When Clemson got within a point of Wake on that Saturday afternoon a few weeks ago, that was the loudest I've been in an arena in a long time, to the point where I couldn't hear the person behind me. It's going to get like that again tonight. It's going to get like that again this week. And for Duke's just got to be able to handle that. It's going to a lot of pressure, a lot of noise, and if they fall behind, they got to stay composed. But the idea that they were able to stay composed at Wake Forest last week, even though they came up short and lost, they battled back. They were in the game to the end. Suggests that they'll be okay.
All right, Gary Parrish, thank you very much, sir. We'll talk to you real soon.
Thanks, Jason.
All right, folks, for more on this battle of top 10 teams, be sure to stay with CBSSports.com and check out everything that Gary's writing throughout the week here on the website as well. For GP, I'm Jason Horowitz. Take care, folks.